Are we good?
Yeah, we're live.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for taking the time to join us today. We are really excited to be talking about multi-streaming. I know you guys have been asking lots of questions about what is it, how do you do it, does Ecamm Live let you do it? So I'm really excited to be here today with Rudy from Switchboard Live. Hi, Rudy. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me. How's it going?
Of course, it's going really well. And Rudy was kind enough to talk me through some of the logistics. So, in the same way that you guys out there probably have tons of questions, I've got a whole bunch myself. So, it's exciting to be up and multi-streaming out to a bunch of different locations. We're trying Periscope for the first time today, so that's really exciting for us here.
Awesome.
Yeah, really thrilled to have you here. So let's just jump right into it. Let's talk through a little bit about exactly what multi-streaming is, or simulcasting, as we've heard out there.
Sure. Again, thanks for having me on the show. I'm looking forward to, a good lively discussion.
Definitely.
And you know what? We get asked that question a ton as well, right? Like, why stream your video to all your various different destinations?
Yeah.
And really, I think it's just about discoverability. It's about this, exposure. It's about really connecting with the audience, right? Putting your video wherever your audience may be, right? Just like with anything, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. So you may have a great audience that exists on Facebook. No way to you don't want to alienate those guys. So now here's an opportunity to now maybe bring up your Twitter account or your LinkedIn account or your YouTube account, and it gives you an opportunity to get that video on all these different destinations, really test out the market, see what people respond to, see where people are actually watching your video, right?
Yeah.
It's a great way to do that,
Yeah, it is pretty amazing. I know that initially, at least when I joined the team, we were predominantly going out to Facebook. That's where our audience is sitting, and that's where
Sure.
we know that there's always going to be people on and people leaving comments and people getting excited. But as we started playing around and adding on YouTube and really recently LinkedIn Live, it's been just really interesting seeing at times where I'm like, no one will be over there. We don't really have much of a presence there. But those comments flood in, and people are
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
there and are definitely watching, which is always super exciting to see.
And think about like post show, right? So the productivity level. So imagine if you did your stream or you were doing your stream straight to Facebook. Now you want to then take that copy of the archive, and now you got to go post it to YouTube or post it here. This gives you a great easy way to know that at the very least, once your stream's over, once your show's over, the content is there, right? And then if you need to go back and maybe modify the copy or trim things, you could use the tools that they have within the YouTube and Facebook platform to do that. But at the very least, at least immediately, if that replay value, it's already there, right? And so I think there's been times where that's actually been a lifesaver, right? So
Yeah.
someone hasn't hit record or they don't have an archive and they realize like, oh wait, I could just go and download it from my YouTube account, or I can go download it, from wherever else I'm streaming it to. So, that's
Yeah.
definitely a good way. And then the last thing is about just new audiences, right? You never know who's going to tune in, right? You never know who's searching for what you're doing. Just like on Instagram, right? You're scrolling through stuff and then you stop and then you go do something else, something else. So this is something where you're putting content on a platform. And one thing that is important is the tagging, right? So to make your content discoverable, making sure you're putting in a description, not just say live, right? It should be descriptive of what you are talking about or streaming or what have you, so that it is discoverable, from within the platforms too.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that makes a huge difference. And then also even being able to go back and, tweak it later so that, I'm sure that if you're going out everywhere, the reality is still that some of those audiences are different. And so being able to kind of go back in and tag that copy afterwards when the video is
Right.
sitting there is also huge.
Right.
Particularly for YouTube, probably, where obviously it's so discoverable if you're able to get those tags and those keywords right.
Well, that's actually a really, really good point. So think about YouTube for a second, right? That's the second largest search engine behind what?
Yeah, Google.
Google,
Owned by
right? So
Google.
yeah,
Yeah.
so now if you go to Google and you're typing
Yeah.
in something and you have the video that exists on YouTube, so chances are, you're going to get a Google search, as well as there may be a valid or corresponding YouTube video about that as well. So you got it from a business perspective. You got to think about it from that standpoint. Just making it a way to contribute to the YouTube searchability, Google ecosystem, right? So I think those are like the little things that folks may not think about, and then the last piece is the challenge is, all right, if I'm everywhere, right, how do I engage? Because the great thing about this, you and I, we're having this live conversation, we're engaging, we're talking, is how do I do that? Maybe one of those is your primary channel, right? Whatever your call to action is. Hey, to be a part of this conversation, come here, click here, join here, right? You could direct folks to go where you want them to go, and then be able to have a great engaging conversation. And so yeah, I think that was a great point with regards to YouTube. I mean, you got to have it there from a searchability standpoint.
Yeah, it's huge. And I know that, we've heard a ton of times, and certainly we've seen it ourselves, that, you certainly have a group of people who are there and are live with you and are watching with you, and that, and that side of it. But there's so many people that discover it afterwards and are catching it in that replay mode and are, stumbling upon it, or you're able to point people back to it through one of your other marketing channels. So, sending an email after to the direct link can be really, really huge, especially since, at least historically, sites like Facebook and YouTube do seem to give a bit of a higher street cred value to live video over just regular video. So
that's definitely getting tweaked. That's definitely there. And there's stats out there, and I'm not sure how long ago, but a person is much more inclined to engage 3 times more likely when live video. Just the recall element, right? Meaning be able to recall content is like 40% higher when it's live than VOD, so it's interesting to kind of understand the facts and statistics, that word, right? Behind that. So yeah, I mean, those are just, some of the inherent benefits of leveraging a multi-stream, if you would.
Definitely. So I want to talk with you a little bit about Switchboard. I think a lot of our customers are generally familiar with multi-streaming, and maybe they've kind of played around with it a little bit, but they may not necessarily know about you and about what Switchboard Live does. So would love to talk with you a little bit about how long you guys have been around for, what your role is there, a little bit about the history of the company.
Sure. I love to talk about our origin story. I mean, it's interesting. I was on a call yesterday I was on a call yesterday rather, and I can't give away my trade secrets, right? And February 11th was actually a 4-year anniversary of when we went through this awesome accelerator out in San Antonio called Techstars. Wow. Right? And I was like, man, I should tweet about this, and here it is, right? So maybe I'll do it on tomorrow as a throwback, right?
Definitely.
But the point is, we've been around for a good amount of years, right? Really in the early days when there wasn't a live opportunity on Facebook, right? Instagram Live wasn't even a thing. Go back. I'm trying to think. Our very, very first event that we started was in 2014, right? To kind of paint the picture. So when we started this idea in 2014, we built our MVP product, which was called, some may know, it was called Joycaster, Joycastr. So that was our, hey, let's, we're crazy guys. Let's go out here. Let's build this product. Let's put it out, and let's see if people could use this as much as we saw it as being, a tool, a valid time saver. Really being able to take live video in a simple way to go to point A, point B, point C, right? That was our thesis. That was our goal. And then when we started realizing that, hey, you know what, there's a little bit more application to this, right? This isn't just, a technology solution that can do this, right? And that's when it kind of really clicked, to be honest with you. And so that's when we went to the accelerator. We were challenged about who's the market you serve? What are you guys looking to do? And those are the things as a budding entrepreneur, you just want to go and just solve problems, but what is your focus, right? And so anyway, so we kind of looked at where we fit in the new category, right? We're not a platform, nor are we an encoder, right? So you don't watch video, nor do you use us to send video. We're like in the middle, right? The middleman. And so, and then our thought was well, who can leverage that, right? And so, um, the very, 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 very first thing we've ever done was a fantastic, like the best use case you could ever say, right?
Mhm.
Long story short, we streamed this event, was called the Streamies Award Show.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, this is September 7th. Like I know this date, September 7th, 2014. It was in the Beverly Hills Hilton Hotel, like the same place they do the Golden Globes,
Wow.
but it was the Oscars or Golden Globes for streamers, right? And
So
I
cool.
believe it still goes on. It's been on VH1, it's been on YouTube,
Oh, that's so cool.
since the years. But really, we got an opportunity to showcase this technology because the production team wanted to send video to 10 YouTube channels. They had a MySpace page with a live video component, and they were
You're
using a
taking me
product.
back to my
Yeah,
MySpace days. I
yeah,
love it.
exactly. Like, I didn't even know like MySpace had a live thing, but I guess they turned it on for special events. And
Yeah.
then they were using Snappy TV, right, to do like this live clipping.
Yeah.
Again, this is 2014, so this is like almost 6 years ago.
It's amazing how much has changed in 6 years, though. Like, I mean, even like, what has come and gone. My MySpace is just a memory for some of us now. So
Like,
nuts.
and I honestly, I wasn't even a MySpacer. I never used it. I mean, I knew it was there. It was just one of those things. Just,
Yeah.
I guess I'm a little older, right? So, but nothing bad about that. But anyway, I'll wrap it up. I know I'm going long with
No,
it.
no,
But
it's great.
so the cool thing about it was, when we got this opportunity to stream, to these 10 YouTube channels and so forth. At the end of the show, right, we were looking at the statistics,
Mhm.
and their marketing team, everything was like, hey, go watch the streamies on streamies.org. That's where they were focusing and funneling all their traffic to.
Yeah, that time made a ton of sense. Sure.
But in parallel, using Jorycaster at the time, we went out to, like I said, all those destinations. There was like 7 or 8 times the amount of viewership in comparison to where all the marketing dollars and all the marketing messagings are going to.
Yeah.
And that's when it clicked.
Yeah.
It's like, huh, the technology's cool. We're solving a need. It's doing awesome stuff. But like the audience getting your content, because what happened was all the channels that they were going to. Now, granted, 1 or 2 of them were, some awesome folks. Like I think Pitbull was one of the
Oh, wow.
people that was received. He was at the show getting an award.
Yeah.
But honestly, his channel didn't have the most amount of subscribers.
Huh.
And the crazy thing was that aggregated number
Mhm.
was, like I said, 7 times more. And that's when it's like, wow, all these channels have subscribers. When that channel went live, their subscribers went live.
Mhm.
And they tune into the channel they're subscribed to, not necessarily where the source is coming from.
Yeah, it's harder to move those people over somewhere else versus giving it to them where they are. So there's such a power in that. Yeah.
Yep. And so, to be honest, that's been our North Star since like day one. Like that's when our, the light bulb goes off.
Yep.
That's when we were like, you know what, this technology is cool, and like who and how and what, and those were always on our whiteboard, just figuring out the why. Like why would someone want to do this?
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the origin story of like how this started, and from that point on, it was just events and businesses and individuals and trials and tests and so when we went through the accelerator, we rebranded as Switchboard, and that was 2016, and we've been going after it ever since.
That's awesome. And I mean, Switchboard just makes so much sense for what you guys do, because you really
Plugging you in, right?
really
Plugging
are.
you into all your different networks. Yeah, exactly.
I love it.
Yeah.
And so how many destinations can users go out to with Switchboard?
So we support right now 6 native, right? So the big, I guess 5 and so forth. So you got the YouTube, your Facebook, your Twitter, your LinkedIn, Twitch. And we also have a partnership with Decast, right? So if you want your own embedded player on your website.
Sure.
So those are all what we call native. And what I mean by native, just like how people use Ecamm and they can log in with their Switchboard credentials, it's that simplification. So you don't have to do the copy paste or go and do all that stuff, right?
It was
so
super easy to set up, you guys. It took a couple seconds with Rudy's help, and I was like, we got this.
Yeah. And so so that's the core set, but really the sky's the limit, because there are tons and tons of niche platforms depending on what type of audience you're trying to serve, right? So if you're in gaming, if you're in foodie, or if you're in international, you can use our platform and just create a custom RTMP, and you can essentially publish to wherever you need to go, whether it's your own website, whether it's your app or your player that's on your website. So like you can actually kind of really carve out where you need to go. So to say like how many, it's really endless. At that point, it's just based on the type of package that you have within our application. But
sure.
really, the sky's the limit. And a fun fact, we had a client of ours, Harley Davidson, where we streamed to. Now this is an extreme use case, right?
Yeah.
It was over like 700 Facebook pages.
You laugh. In past careers, I worked for either like franchise businesses or licensed business models where they have hundreds of different locations, and sometimes it means that they have Facebook location set up where it's just one page. But I've worked for businesses where they have had hundreds of pages, and there's such power in that, but it also makes it in some ways feel a little bit unmanageable, where you're like, okay, but how do I reach all these people at once? So,
exactly.
So I think that makes a ton of sense. Yeah.
So the use case was pretty interesting. So like, when we're talking with the guys there, it's like, hey, we have global presence, right? Our brand is global.
Yeah.
We have dealerships in Italy. We have dealerships in South Africa. We have dealerships everywhere, right? And so we're producing this great high quality content. Yeah. We want to empower our Facebook page, dealerships globally to be able to receive this content, right? Yeah. And so this was an opportunity where they took the show and they streamed it out to all their, the various destinations. In fact, I think we, so in one hindsight, I think we, Facebook wasn't probably too happy with us because we created all these different destinations of the video and so forth coming in, which I think, it's probably a good reason why you have this cross posting feature, that came in play, because, I'd like to say it's because of us in a good way, like we helped them to figure it out because of what we were doing. But again, like I said, that was an extreme use case, and it was good for us to really just like test it out and see like how many can we do, right?
Yeah,
so that was pretty cool.
Absolutely. I mean, talk about amplifying your reach. You're like, okay, I have people everywhere. We're gonna put it everywhere. I love it. Literally everywhere. Actually, that raises a good question. So we do get a lot of questions about the difference between Facebook cross-posting, which we offer as one of our pro-level features. So it's just built right in. And people, I think, misunderstand that as being multi-streaming. And we talked through a little bit about the fact that Ecamm Live natively does not multi-stream. You can use an integration with Switchboard Live. So if you have a Switchboard Live account, in the destination menu within Ecamm Live, you just select Switchboard, and then you go through the Switchboard process to get everything all set up. And then when you're going live, it's just a one button push to be able to get your broadcast out, which is what we're doing right now. But we do have the different Facebook cross posting feature as well that's built in, which basically just, as I understand it, maybe Rudy can explain it better, but you basically just creates a carbon copy of your live feed on another separate page. So in the instance of Harley Davidson, for example, or say you're partnering with another business, so you're partnering with another brand, you can get permission as a business partner of theirs to be able to cross post your video out to their page. So it's a little bit different than what true multi-streaming is, but kind of a multi-streaming light,
so like
a better word. Facebook only.
Well, no, that's a great way to start it off. I mean, and from a concept standpoint, you're absolutely right. It's the same way where if you have a affinity or you have a relationship with a brand or a partner, it's a great way to give them content that you're producing. And the hugest benefit is really around the analytics, right? So you have one video that's being, essentially shared and posted to all these different platforms, and it's a total like aggregate viewership, numbers that's kind of aggregated back. So you could say that, hey, I did this stream today at 5:00, and went on to like 4 different channels, and then I can see that relationship, and see which channel performed the best, and then you get this aggregate view. Yeah, totally makes sense. There's tons and tons of use cases, like from an agency perspective, from that where it makes a ton of sense. Now, keep in mind that it is a kind of like a share, so it's not a native connection to that said Facebook destination,
it's more
right?
like an echo, like
Definitely
it's
like
like a
an echo,
copy, yeah.
right? So like for a great example would be like what we're doing right now. So you're using Switchboard and we have this one feed, right? It's going to Ecamm social channels and it's going to Switchboard social channels.
Yeah, which blew my mind. I didn't even think of I don't know why. I never even thought about it. You're like, we're obviously going to go to Switchboard.
I was like, duh!
oh yeah. I was just like, okay, on my channel. I was like, yeah.
And so, but if you notice, like the title, and this is kind of a little insider secret, but this is how you use the platform.
Yeah.
Is the copy for your channels and destinations is really specific to you guys.
Yeah.
And then for the Switchboard, it's a little bit different. And so that's where you can actually control the messaging, right? You can control the copy. And now, like if I really wanted to say, if it was on my own personal Facebook page, I can say, hey, look, I'm live, right, on the Ecamm show, and you guys can say something totally different.
Yeah,
can't do that with
that's really.
Can't do that.
Yeah, that's really that's a neat feature. I think if you're just sharing a video, then you would have to like share and then go in and tweak the copy. Or if you were if you're doing it in a different way, I think the ability to customize that makes a huge difference. It's neat. It's a really cool feature.
Yeah. And I honestly think, there is an application for both, right? So if you need to do the cross posting workflow, totally makes sense. So like, in fact, you can have one stream that's, you're going to Facebook, cross post to other Facebook channels, and then you can still do your destinations to, Twitter and YouTube or your player as well. So it's actually making it easier for us if you think about it from a Facebook standpoint, assuming the copying and the messaging is the same. Yeah. Because we're the ones that's doing the heavy lift, and we're taking the stream in and we're sending it out to all those various destinations, right? So it's total application for both use cases, and just having a firm understanding of the benefits is essential as well.
Yeah, definitely. So let's talk a little bit about destinations. I'd love to know sort of what the most common combination is. Do you see most people kind of staying in that Facebook ecosystem where they're trying to go out to like multiple pages or pages and groups, or do you see a lot of people who are going to everywhere you offer or have like a much wider reach? What's sort of your common use cases?
So that's a great question. So I've seen probably the full gambit, right? You have some folks who are primarily leveraging just Facebook as a whole, right? And using our platform as a Facebook live streaming management, right? So they can have multiple groups, they can have multiple pages that they're admins of, and they can have their personal. So you could use us as a way to just manage that, right? And it was interesting that I was like, you're just going to Facebook, you could do these other they're like, no, this is how we see it, right? And so sometimes it's content that they want in their group that they don't want public, or it's vice versa, and which is pretty interesting. But the top two just global destinations, it definitely is Facebook and YouTube. I would say are the top two. And then that third, it varies, right? It depends on the content, whether it's gaming, will be Twitch, whether it's every now and then you'll see, Twitter as like there'd be a 3. Like I think that would be it. And frankly, I think it's just because people don't realize that Periscope, is the way to get video into your Twitter natively. Yeah. And so that's the part where it's, they can see Twitter on their phone, but to get high quality produced content to your Twitter account, you have to go through Periscope Producer, which is the way to do it. So I think that's just more of an education thing. And then I think it'll become like the de facto, the trifecta. You're going to use all 3. And then after that, you'll see folks go to their website, right? A lot of people say, hey, I have this website, or I have my embedded player, and they're either using it to cast, or they're using some other player that they're leveraging, and they needed to go to the website. And so that would probably be the interchangeable third destination. And then at that point, it's sky's the limit based on how many they need to go to. We have a customer that's like a publisher, and they have different magazines, right, or online digital publications. And so what they'll do is when they go live, they're going live to all of them, right?
Yeah.
But it's the same thing, right? Which is pretty cool as well to see that.
Yeah. So it sounds like you have a lot of sort of larger businesses as well, which are really using it as sort of a management system, which is really, that's neat. I mean, if you think about it from, they want to be able to get their message out, but some of those systems are so complicated. Like they have, multiple different mini businesses under a larger umbrella. So I'm sure that makes it a lot easier.
Yeah. And that's where when we didn't start to realize like how folks are viewing what we've built, right? It's, and it's cool because, there's definitely, competitors out in the space. Some are doing, awesome stuff. And really, we don't use the word competitor. It's like really like, cooperation, right? We're all in the same big ocean, we're pushing the needle. We're creating subcategories. So, so for us, like we see where we work really, really well. It's like, hey, I am a social media manager at a TV station or a publication or, a church, and I don't need all that other stuff. I just need to go 1, 2, 3, go live.
Yeah.
And that's it, right? It's going out there, and so that's where we're seeing tons of traction and people wanting to do that. And sure, we have a roadmap. We want to improve that and optimize it, but hey, my mom always said, if it isn't broke, you don't need to fix it. So we're going to continue down this path, and just provide the easiest, the simplest way to make that happen.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. I mean, that's certainly the business that we're in as well, is how can we make it really accessible so it's, packed with all the features and cool things that people can then innovate and iterate using our tool, but at the same time, how can you make it as easy as possible so that everyone can have the ability to go live and have the ability to create these really cool broadcasts. And it is amazing sort of as you take a look at the different groups of people that it's never who you expect, as we were sort of diving in, taking a look at all you Ecamm Live people that are watching. It's amazing the awesome things that you guys are doing. Like is everyone from, real estate agents who are doing like live video tours of houses, sure, to all of our church live streamers who are out there, bringing their church services to life, to people, who are creating these amazing, somewhere between like a podcast and a live video shows, to all the sort of social media marketing folks out there who are, helping to power their business. Things that I never would have thought you could use live streaming for, they're doing it and they're nailing it, which is, it's amazing to see sort of the how people are moving live video forward and the cool innovation that's coming out of it. And I think you guys are sort of a perfect partner for us in that world, because we have all these creators who are sitting there and they're creating, and the next logical step is like, all right, now I'm nailing it on this one platform. How do I amplify that message and get it out to all these other platforms? Sure. But how can they keep it sort of as simple and as direct a process as possible? As I know that, a ton of people that are out there are, by and large, our customers are by and large, either one-man bands or they're, small businesses, or, yep, or like you're saying, we have a few people who are definitely like the only marketing person or the only social media person at a company, and they need to be able to do everything, and they need to be able to do it like super quickly, super easily, but still really have that level of professionalism and that level of, yep, being able to kind of keep it at the top of their game. So I think that's
and I think that's probably when we talk about a benefit of our platform, right? Mm-hmm. I would say is the productivity, right? It's being able to manage, and we like to look at live in the same way that you would manage your social media. So you're going to use a tool like Hootsuite or Buffer or Sprout Social, whatever, right? Yeah. There's tools out there that do that really, really well. And so for us, it's the same type of concept. Is we want you to treat your live publishing, right? Not just sending video, right? You get a techie, you can set up some media server, you could do that. You can send video, but really, truly publishing your live content to all your social destinations, that's where we think we have a great opportunity to do that. It's funny, we have a customer that's probably in your neck of the woods, Brown University. I don't know like how far that is from you guys. You're
pushing I'm super, super Canadian. I live here in the Boston area, but I'm like still not great at geography.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think it's Rhode Island. Actually, I take that back. That's still up in the Northeast.
Someone on the other end of this live is just like, it's in this city. Why don't you guys know?
But the thing about these guys is, so they have 6 tennis courts, right? And so they have tennis matches, right?
Sure.
Duh. They have tennis matches, but their use case is they have two providers. They have an international provider, and then they also have like ESPN actually that
Wow.
that services the non-televised content.
Sure.
And for them, it's like, hey, we need to be able to get a feed from each court, so 6 inputs, and we need to go out to 12 outputs because it's one for each.
Yeah.
And like that was a use case that we really didn't think about, but like totally makes sense. We have the ability for you to have more than one input to come in and be able to manage it, and that goes back to the whole mentality of being able to really manage your workflow. I mean, it sounds like we really sat down and thought about like how to label our technology or label what we call things, but it's like at the end of the day, it's like, what is your workflow? I want video to come in, it needs to go here, it needs to have this information, and boom. So yeah, it was like that was amazing just to hear how they needed to leverage Switchboard, to get video to their endpoints.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I know people have been asking to see a demo. They're like, enough already. We want to see it. So I know you sent me a little video in advance. I'm going to roll over to there so you can give us kind of a bit of a breakdown of what it looks like and how it works.
Sure, it's pretty quick video, and then if we can, I can even probably do a screen share. I don't know how we are on time, but you tell me.
Yeah, we're good. We
so
can do. Yeah. All right, here we go.
So this is Switchboard logging in, and we got video coming into the conference monitor, and wow, this is a smaller screen. As you can see, I have 3 destinations. So what I'm doing is I'm walking through the wizard of adding my YouTube channel so that I can publish the live stream to 4 destinations. So once you do this setup, you go through the wizard, you select from all the accounts you have access to, and as you can see, I have 4 channels there. I'm creating what we call a template, so I can create my title, my description, and publish once. I'm going live, so now I'm live on YouTube, and now I'm going to go and I think quickly show you that I'm live on Periscope, and then I'm live on Facebook, live on LinkedIn, right? So yeah, so this was just kind of like the quick and dirty way of really showing you how we do that. One cool feature that is probably hard to see is while you're live, you can actually, for YouTube, Facebook, I believe Twitch, I had to double check on the other platforms, but we can show you the viewership, right, real time. So you can actually see how many people are watching on each of the different destinations, and give you like the total roll up as well. Yeah. So yeah, that was one of the little icons I think I was trying to illustrate there as well. But if you have like 2-3 minutes, I can quickly
let's do it.
Share my screen. So yeah, give me a sec here. Let's see. Share screen. Here we go. Right, live demo, guys. Live demo. So which one is it? Workflow. There we go.
1 second. I don't see it coming in yet.
All right. So I'm gonna let the internet work.
Shared screen. We're good. All right, you're good.
Perfect. So again, just like that little quick video, this is what this is our dashboard, right? So this is Switchboard Cloud, which is our, cloud application that allows you to take live video in from your source, encoder. This one is, I have just coming in from a machine that I have behind me and just looping video here. So this is the confidence monitor. It's really just to make sure that you have video coming in. We have a cool feature where if you have audio, you want to kind of preview the audio, you hold this button down, you can listen to your audio. We provide you with all like the tech information about the stream, the resolution, the bit rate, and if you need to go even deeper in detail, we have all this information here as well.
I love that it's called a confidence screen. That makes me feel so much better.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is, right? We have some kind of cool like visual elements. So like I said, we have folks who manage multiple inputs. So we have a couple of television stations where they have, a field reporter, or they'll have, the broadcast studio, encoder. And so for them, they need to go live to air or sometimes at the same time. And so, I just have this is my test account. I have like tons of different types of encoders in here, right?
Yeah.
But you can label things differently. I can say, what's the date? 2/12/2020. And then that way, it's just from a visual standpoint, I can change the color of that, if I wanted this to go from that to that. And then once you have your video coming in, you would then set up your destinations. If you want, I'll quickly add my Facebook destination. And it's just a three-step process. You click that button, you click new destination. Again, remember we were mentioning the destinations we support. So here are the 6 native ones that we support. We click on Facebook Live. Because we're partners with Facebook, we connect with them via their API.
That's great.
Want to make sure that the goal is you should be able to connect to the destinations in a very, very as close as similar possible fashion. What is that? Oh, I have OBS running on my other computer. No, that's not even this computer. It's not even. I guess I left it open from testing earlier.
It's all good.
See, there you go. That's a good reason why you got to be careful with what you put in. So here's my pages.
Yep.
So I'm going to choose my test page real quick right here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I hit close. And then I can either add another one or I can hit finish.
That's great. And it's great, as I'm sure that people are asking, but you guys do have a connection now with LinkedIn Live as well, which has become sort of a huge place, especially for our users. So it's really exciting.
Absolutely correct. And I think we have a newsletter kind of going on. We've got some marketing thing around that. We're going to have like a help tutorial, a startup guide.
That's great.
Really talking about like how to get going live. In fact, I haven't even done it live myself.
Well, we're live right now on our LinkedIn Live page, so you're officially live on LinkedIn.
Well, cool. Hey, LinkedIn world, right? And then lastly, so I have my 3 destinations here. And the last piece is what I want to get published, right? So this is my stream title, this is the category that's applicable for YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And here is my description. So if I hit save, and what this will do is when I go live, it will publish that information to all 3. Now here's some cool things. I can actually I can go individually by clicking these buttons. I can do a group select, and I can start them all. I mean, you can really mix and match how you need to go live. We've seen folks that go on like conferences, and they have like speakers that are part of the conference, and they will stream the first speaker segment to their social media channels, the second speaker segment, and vice versa. So that's like a real cool way to get the participants involved and give them an opportunity to be a part of the event that they're at as well.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I'm going to switch back to you so everyone can see you. That's a really good point that we should bring up. That was a different step than what I think people are familiar with on our end. So in our back end in the Ecamm Live app, when you're choosing Switchboard Live as your destination and you hit that go live button, you're not actually live until you go through the Switchboard Live back end screen that Rudy was just showing, which is a little bit scary when I first did it because I was like, uh-oh, what is going on? But at the same time, I think that's really nice because it gives you that flexibility. So you'll see the video feed come into Switchboard Live into that confidence video window. And then you'll be able to decide whether or not you want to toggle on, one at a time, all of them at once. You can change back and forth. I think that's really neat, and I haven't seen that elsewhere. So it's a really cool thing that sort of threw me for a bit of a loop when I first started, and I had a moment of panic. So don't panic, Ecamm Live people. I think it's a really neat kind of way to be able to have that added level of control, to have that extra dashboard. So neat feature, and was definitely built confidence after I realized exactly what was going on. Yeah,
that's actually a very, very good point that I overlook is that we become your master go live switch, right? So it's a great way to test and make sure you have video and audio coming in before you actually publish, right? So that's something we probably don't really talk about as much, and it's our fault for not doing that. But yeah, our goal is definitely to create this workflow that allows you to kind of see it before you actually do go live.
Awesome. Well, we are nearing the end of our time. So is there anything else people need to know about Switchboard or about multi-streaming in general? I know we have a special offer for Ecamm Live users that I'll put up on the screen at the end here, but anything else that you wanted to add, Rudy? We really appreciate your time. I feel like much more savvy. I'm ready now to be going out often.
Well, I mean, I think the offer is great. Our goal is to provide a platform, like I said, at the conversation, that's, simple, that it's easy. It really, solves a need. It serves a purpose for, really being able to quickly and efficiently get your video out there, right?
Yeah.
Our goal is not to go and, replicate the wheel or build this big, um, you know,
Overwhelming. Yeah.
overwhelming
Yeah.
tech, like someone like, so when I was started in this kind of streaming world, right, it was command lines and config files. There was no beautiful GUI kind of thing. And
Yeah.
so that's our number one goal is, no, it shouldn't be that hard. It should be, easy.
Yeah.
I think the big challenge is getting video inside of the platform. And once you overcome that hurdle, then everything else is cake. And if you're using a product like Ecamm, we even take that piece out of there, right? Because now you just log in and hit go live in the Ecamm app, and then you can switch boards.
Yeah. Awesome.
Fantastic. I'd love to, when we do some updates and some new feature releases, maybe come back on and meet the pros, another show or however, or maybe have you guys on something as well, so we could do the end, right? Just show the awesomeness in Ecamm for our Switchboard Live audience as well.
Yeah, definitely. We'd love to have you back on, and I know there's probably people leaving questions and comments and things like that, so we'll be on later and I'll tag Rudy of the Switchboard Live team in if there's anything that's over my head or that I can't answer. But we promise we'll answer all of those questions as they come up in the different feeds. And hey to anyone that's out there watching on Periscope, this is our first time there, so it's very exciting. I can't wait to see how that did, or who was there, or how many people saw it.
Yeah, exactly. That'd be awesome.
Awesome. Well, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week, Rudy. And I will move over here into this offer. So anyone that is just like, yep, I want to get into multi-streaming, you guys can head on over to switchboard.live. And if you use the promo code ECAMLive at checkout, you'll get your first month free. So no excuses as to why you can't check it out and give it a try. And we'll post this offer as well just up onto our Facebook page. We've already sent it out by email to all of you guys. So hopefully you've had a chance to take a look at it, but definitely worth checking out and seeing all of the power and the cool things that you can do with multi-streaming. Awesome. Well, we will catch you guys next time. Definitely leave any questions or comments in whatever channel you're on, and we'll be sure to answer them as soon as we can. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Rudy.
Take care. Bye, guys.
Bye.